The property market is about to completely change forever, and something very strange is going on. Let me explain. Firstly, if you look at the media and what everyone's saying about UK property, it's all doom and gloom. I mean, there's a budget coming next month. Very doom and gloom. They're talking about VAT bringing it down to £30,000, which is going to absolutely kill nearly all small businesses. National insurance for landlords, renters reform bill. It is absolutely devastating what is happening for normal small-time landlords. And the generic narrative is that property investing is dead, it's terrible. So that's happening. But then the strange thing is, if you go to an auction, because that's how you really know what's going on. Sure, you can watch the news, you can listen to BBC telling you what's happening, but if you go to an actual auction, online or in person, do you know what's happening? People are aggressively buying and gazumping one another at auctions. So that's interesting. So are landlords exiting or are they aggressively building? What's happening? Well, the reality is, both are happening at the same time. Landlords are panicking and selling because they're getting absolutely whacked with taxes, but at the same time, you've got people coming in. I mean, we know the big companies, the big oil owners from Abu Dhabi and across, they've got a lot of money, dumping money into UK residential property. Why? Why are BlackRock and Lloyds Bank and all the banks and all the big institutions aggressively buying properties and becoming landlords and landowners? Bill Gates owns more land in America than any other individual. Why? Why are the big companies aggressively buying, but then the small landlords are saying, oh, this is really hard now. The rich, the elites, wish they could take property from you, but they can't. So what they're doing is they're just taxing it from you. They can't take it from you, but they can tax it from you. There's all these taxes that are killing landlords, but interestingly, these taxes are not applicable for these big companies. That is absolutely mind-blowing. We saw this the first time it happened, or at least the first time I saw it, was in 2017, where we had Section 24 tax come in, which is an absolutely devastating tax. Horrible for landlords. Says that landlords cannot claim legitimate business expenses, namely mortgage interest payments, as legitimate business expenses, meaning that you're paying tax on the full rent as opposed to the profit, which, by the way, never happens in business. In business, you always pay tax on profit. So paying tax on basic turnover is an absolute mockery. And they brought that in. And this was the Conservatives that brought it in. The people say, oh, Labour is so bad. Conservatives started a lot of this. It's the same people. It's the same people. So that was terrible for landlords. However, Section 24 tax doesn't apply if you are a company. That's interesting. Why not? Because the people that are buying up whole streets in Britain, they're not individuals. They're trusts, they're pensions, they're companies, they're enterprises. So they don't want to get this Section 24 tax. Now here's the interesting thing. This is what's about to change property forever. If the budget next month happens like they say it's going to happen, and all of the things that they bring in are true, it is going to absolutely obliterate private landlords. But interestingly, it won't apply to the companies. It won't apply. Let's walk through each one at a time. By the way, this could be the most important video you watch. You should watch this video 10 times. Study it. Hear this. Number one, national insurance for landlords. Do you know that national insurance, I think it's 8%, right? It's for employees, isn't it? If you're an employee and you're getting 20 grand, you're gonna pay 8% national insurance, right, for employees. That, they're talking about bringing that in next month for private landlords. What's that gonna mean? That's gonna mean that when you buy a house at the moment, can we just talk about how messed this is for most landlords? Hear this. You buy a house, 200 grand, you know what your stamp duty is gonna be? How much stamp duty will I pay if I buy a £200,000 house as a second property investment in the UK? £11,500 stamp duty. Now that's not, you can't add that onto the mortgage. That's just £11,500. I mean, your deposit's only 50 grand, so that's an extra 20% on top just for the stamp duty. More than 20%. If the house is 300 grand, £20,000. So they just killed you already, didn't they? You're a landlord, went to buy houses. It's like, no, you want to buy a 300 grand house? 20 grand. My deposit is going to be 75 grand. So 20 grand, that is an additional 27%. 27% on top. So they killed you with stamp duty tax. But then it gets worse. Because then you buy the property, if you want to sell it, you've now got to pay capital gains tax on anything higher, which is up to 28%. Clobbered! But that's not the worst of it. The worst of it is, when you rent the property out, you're having to pay not just income tax, but also Section 24 tax. So right now, landlords are already a bit screwed. And they've just done this slowly. And it was only, a matter of months ago when they increased stamp duty surcharge from 3 to 5%. And then a few years ago when they brought in Section 24 tax. But on top of all this, with landlords right now, the ones the remnant landlords, the remaining few that are just clinging on and making £50 a month national insurance tax. It's going to mean that owning a property and renting it out, you have to pay for the privilege, pay the government. You're going to make nothing, less than nothing to do that. So we're going to do, you're going to sell. And that's what's happening. Meanwhile, many of these taxes aren't applying for the companies. For example, Section 24 tax totally isn't going to happen. National insurance tax. I reckon, mark my words, that national insurance tax won't apply to the companies and enterprises. It won't apply. What about the other taxes they're going to bring in? VAT. Let me explain something. A lot of people that are small landlords are realizing that tenants is not the answer. If you have a tenant, you've got all these taxes, but also worse than that, the tenants have rights. Renters reform bills coming, which is going to give the tenants even more rights, which means that if the tenant doesn't pay rent, you can't get them out. It means that you have to take them to court. Courts are backlogged. It is a nightmare. So what people are doing is they're renting to guests. Now, when you have a guest and they're not a tenant, it's way more lucrative. But now, if you hit £90,000 turnover, you have to pay VAT. So all these small landlords that are now renting out their properties to guests, they're laughing all the way to the bank. And I've been teaching people how to do this. They have guests. But what's going to happen is they're now saying that they're going to bring the VAT threshold from 90,000 down to 30,000. This is an attack on small struggling landlords that are now doing serviced accommodation and renting their properties on Airbnb. And you know why it's an attack on them? Because the big companies, I'll take Premier Inn. Premier Inn are a hotel company. They're massive. They use all the strategies I teach, they do very successfully. Lease options, rent to rent, service to accommodate, but they do. So you got Premier Inn making millions of pounds, charging £120 a night, and their rooms are full. And then you come along, because you are a student of mine, and you rent a property in the same street, a small little studio apartment for £1,000 a month, and you rent it out for a little bit less, for £110 a night, and it's fully booked, and you're now turning over £3,000 a month, paying the rent to the landlord of £1,000, making £1,000 profit. Happy days. That's called rent-to-rent serviced accommodation. Happy days. You can undercut Premier Inn, and you're not paying VAT, but they are, because you're not even making 90 grand. Do you think Premier Inn like that? No. Do you think it really irritates them? Yes. Do you think all the big companies like it? No. So all these big companies, they're all paying VAT. Now, Labour Party are saying, you all have to pay VAT. The struggling hairdressers, the struggling people that are doing rent-to-rent serviced accommodation, the bakeries, the tradespeople, everyone has to pay VAT. Because let's be real, 30 grand a year, that's not profit, that's turnover. All companies are doing that. So all the small companies that were doing between 30 and 90 grand are now hit. So when Kier Starmer said he would not attack the working people, the small people, he'd be attacking the big people, it's not true. Because all of the changes, the massive one is the wealth tax. Let me explain this. Gary Stevenson from Gary Economics has been talking about wealth tax. We should charge people wealth tax. All the wealthy should have to pay. Now, who's he talking about? He's talking about the billionaires. Yeah? These really rich people with hundreds of millions have to pay wealth tax. Now, they are actually bringing in the next budget next month, a wealth tax. And you might go, that's amazing! All these wealthy people. No, not all the wealthy people. Not the billionaires, not the multimillionaires, not the people that own companies and trusts. Do you know who they're going to hit? They're going to hit the middle class. The middle class are going to become extinct real quick. It is just going to be rich and poor very, very soon. It's already happening. Wealth tax. If you own a property that is £500,000 or more, they're saying that they're going to introduce a wealth tax where you're going to pay 0.5% of the entire value of the house you have to pay to the government just for owning the house. Now you might go, how on earth are they going to do this? What about the people that own loads of houses and they own mansions and hotels? And yeah, but here's my prediction. That's not going to be for wealthy people. That's not going to be for companies. That's going to be for people that own the property in their personal name. This is going to hit the middle class. So the property investors are fine. But here's an interesting thing as well. That is going to replace stamp duty. So stamp duty, which is just about the only tax that probably does piss off the rich people that are buying, like BlackRock, Lloyds Bank, all these people buying all these residential houses, probably don't like stamp duty. So like, we don't want to pay stamp duty anymore. Can we just abolish stamp duty? We can, but we'll bring in a wealth tax instead. Oh, no, we don't want that. Don't worry, it won't apply to you. It'll just be the middle class that own properties in their personal name. Perfect. It is a complete rigged setup that Kier Starmer is heading up. I think Kier is a complete puppet. I don't think he knows. Literally, Kier Starmer said, just before he was in power, I'm not going to attack the working class. There won't be any more taxes. That couldn't be further from the truth. Kier and Labour Party are taxing the absolute living daylights out of the hardest working people in Britain. Meanwhile, the wealthy people are just going to get richer and richer. Now, I say that, but interestingly, I am a wealthy person. I own tens of millions of pounds worth of property, and I am wealthy. And my business makes millions of pounds every year. And I do pay a lot of money in tax. But you know what? Some people even sat me down. I was sat down by a few billionaires, and they said, "You're paying millions of pounds in tax." I was on Nigel Farage show. I said, "Yeah, man, I'm paying millions in tax." People call me aside. "You know, you don't have to do that." I'm like, "What do you mean? You can just do this, and are you joking?" Like, it is absolutely mind-boggling what you can do when you are rich. Now, I would be mad not to take advantage of those things. I would be crazy. I'm not going to pay tax for the sake of it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to use those completely HMRC approved legitimate ways to mitigate my tax. But then I'm also going to take people with me and share. And that's why I'm very persecuted as well. In Parliament, they were talking about me. They were talking about Samuel Leeds. Samuel Leeds is teaching people about finances, but it's unregulated, they said. What are we going to do about Samuel Leeds teaching unregulated finance courses? That's what they're saying in Parliament right now about me. So they don't like me teaching about finances when I literally I'm speaking complete truth. And I'm helping thousands of people. But then it's okay that that Lloyds Bank are going into schools and teaching kids about finances. I've seen the curriculum that they are teaching kids about finances that is ran by the banks. And you know what it is? It's you should have a lifetime ISA and save up money and put it in. They are teaching a rigged system to our kids to get them to be employees, to work hard, to be workers, to be slaves, to save up their money, to put it in the bank, where the banks then use our money to get rich. I can't believe how no one is talking about this. I can't believe how rigged it is. I can't believe that 10 years ago, when you went to a food bank, the charities that were giving bread and beans and basic groceries to struggling people 10 years ago, it was the destitute, the homeless, the drug addicts. But now if you go to a food bank, who comes? Nurses, engineers. I can't believe how absolutely screwed everybody is and has become, and how people are now working 5 times harder to make less money than you did 50 years ago. I think it's the boiling of the frog. You know, you put a frog in boiling water and it jumps out. 50 years ago, if someone said to your grandparents, "Come and work in a job, you have to work 50 hours a week, it's going to be really stressful, and don't worry, you're going to have just enough money to rent a flat, but not drive, not go on holiday," your grandparents would be like, "No, we're not doing that. If we're going to work 50 hours a week, we want to be able to go on holiday 3 times a year, want a nice car, we want a detached house." So the boiling of the frog has happened so much that now people are literally modern day slaves, working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, and then can't even afford to go on a decent holiday. It is an absolute mockery. Our government are an absolute mockery. Our banks are a mockery. Our education system is a mockery. I had to pull all my kids out of school because of how badly the brainwashing in the education system is. I can see it in front of me. Them brainwashing my little children to become slaves. I could see it. To become, don't argue, do as we say, do as you're told. Everything I'm teaching them at home, they were teaching them the opposite. I'm telling them to work as a team, to think outside the box, to make mistakes. It's okay. The opposite. Let me tell you, I had it when I was at school. When I was at school, I got into serious trouble. They called my mum in for cheating. Do you know what they said was cheating? Do you know what I was doing? I was paying somebody in my class called Chelsea to do my work for me. That's not cheating. That's called business. Today, you might go, "Oh no, Sammy, that's cheating." No, today, Chelsea works for me. She's an employee of mine. Is that cheating for paying her to do my work? No. That's called business. It's how all business operates. But at school, they brainwash you not to do that, not to work as a team, work alone, don't copy other people. What do you mean don't copy other people? I'm not having it. So I homeschool my kids, I home educate them. And now Kier Starmer don't like that, does he? Now they're trying to change the way home education is done so that they can come and have a say and have an influence. Get lost. You should not. You messed up already. You messed up the education system, and now I built my own school. I don't want you involved. I do not want you involved. The 2 most dangerous things, the most dangerous thing the government can ever say is, "Let us help you. Let us help you and get involved." No, run. Do not take anything from the government ever. Do not take benefits. Do not take anything. Be financially independent. Raise your own children. Do not let the government, the state, raise your children. Raise your own children. Make your own money. So society is just done. Completely done. I'm standing here there's a lot of people on YouTube that talk about finance, the finance gurus. They're not rich. They just found a little hack and are doing videos. I have made many millions, and I am like a man in the desert, in the wilderness, like John the Baptist, like Noah from Noah's Ark, saying, the rain is coming. I've been saying it for a decade. The storm is coming. The world will be flooded. I'm building a boat. And everyone laughed at me while I built my boat. And I'm saying I'm building many rooms so people can join me. Ha 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 ha. Samuel's trying to scam you, they said. No, I'm building a boat, and I've helped thousands of people get on my boat. And now it's tipping it down outside, and people are realizing, oh my goodness, my boat only has so many rooms. Get on the boat. And then got people like Tanks laughing. Ha ha, Samuel's trying to sell a course. Do you really think I need to sell a course? That's called being brainwashed from society. So yes, you can listen to the BBC, Britain's brainwashing channel, and say, oh, I don't want to get into property, I don't want to be a landlord, it's risky. Yes, you can listen to the government bashing Samuel Leeds for my unregulated courses. Instead, go to university. You know how bad universities are? You know, if you go to university and you study business, you're learning from a guy who never had a business. Is that not a fake guru? Paying £40,000 in student debt. Why will you be clapped for going to university to study business from a guy who never had a business? But then if you go to an actual guy who's built a business, like me, and say, yeah man, I'm learning from this guy, people, oh, be careful. What happened to us as a society? Oh, but if you go to university though, you know, you get a degree. Do you know how little employers care about your degree? A degree? Is it worth 40 grand for the piece of paper? Yeah, but you can then get a job with the degree. I'm studying law at university out of interest. Do you know how many people that go to study law actually become lawyers and get paid to be a lawyer? 16%. Why is no one talking about that? Is it not misleading marketing? Why do universities have a government megaphone? Do you know what the statistics is for my training, my academy, Samuel Leeds Academy? 86% of people are doing deals and making money within the first 12 months. It spanks university, but yet the government are bashing me. Why? Why? People need to just use their brain. Wake up. Think. When everyone's scared about investing in property, but all the rich people are investing in property. And you go to an auction and everyone's buying properties like mad. These wealthy people. But they're saying to you, no, don't you do it. When the banks are saying to you, no, you can't invest in property, you're too dumb and stupid. We won't give you a loan to invest in property, but we will give you a loan to go on holiday. We will give you a loan to get married. We will give you a loan to go and piss it up the wall and go gambling in Las Vegas. Have fun, loan approved. You want to invest in property? Oh no, it's too risky. Just work hard, get in debt to us, save up money, give it to us, and then we'll invest it for you. But we won't even tell you about the investments or what's going on. We'll just freeze your money in the account, and if you come and ask for it, we'll say, no, we can't give it to you because we don't have it. That is what is happening. It is legalized criminalization. And the only thing you can do is make sure you are okay. That's it. The only thing you can do. And when you are okay, you can then help your family. And then when you are okay and your family are okay, you can then help other people. That's all I'm doing, by the way. Sure, I'm running a business. So if you join my academy, for example, you have to pay because you're getting access to mentoring with my lawyers, my accountants, my team, who I pay. I pay over £1 million a year for my mentors so people can access my mentors. So you're contributing to being part of the membership. So yeah, everything works with money. Money makes the world go around. But I'm doing this because as a beck and call to say, hey, folks, this is what's happening because I care about legacy. I want to be on the right side of history. So I want to see people win. But if you are listening to the BBC and believing Keir Starmer and going to school and working hard for money, fake money, then I can't help you. But if you're ready to say, actually, you know what? I want to make sure I'm okay. And then when I'm okay, I want to make sure my family are okay. And then I'm happy to mentor you. I'm happy to work with you. I do a lot of free training. I'm running a free online webinar session where I'm going to be training and going through the exact steps of how to get into property, even if you don't have money to start with, how to partner, how to do what the banks do. So the offer's there. So join me. I'll leave a link in the description. Join me. And if you don't, no, Samuel's just trying to sort of, then I can't help you. But if you're ready to say, you know what, I've got nothing to lose and I've got a lot to gain, come join. Have your eyes open, because once you see the path, it's like if you play a computer game. Once you get past level 6, you can continually get past level 6 because you've done it before. And in the same way, when I show you what to do and you do it, then it's like, okay, now I can keep doing it. Great. You only need to get a few deals. You just replicate, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So anyway, join. I'll leave a link in the description. Hope this video was helpful. Stay safe.